You're up a piece now. What? Well, you gotta limit your opponent's counterplay and develop your pieces and try to be, active. This is one of the most smooth conversions I have ever had, which is not saying a lot, but nonetheless, this is round 5 of the Pennsylvania State Championship, and I am playing another 1600. I'm 1.5 out of 4 going into this last round, and yeah, I'm hoping to get a win to end the tournament and finish with an even score. So my opponent plays d4, I play d5, and this is a no-engine recap until at the very end where we put the game through game review. So he played knight f3, I play knight f6, so very symmetrical here, and then he plays bishop f4, so this is indeed the London system. I play e6, he plays e3, and I play bishop d6. So this is the setup I like to do against London. I'm fighting for control of the e5 square. This is what this game is going to be all about. However, he surprises me a little bit with the move bishop g5. And I've never seen anyone play this move. It feels really weird. I guess the idea is that you're pinning the knight to the queen. And yeah, we're avoiding the trade. Maybe he doesn't want to trade pieces. Maybe he doesn't like. Maybe he hasn't even looked at London theory. He said he's never studied chess before. He's been playing his whole life, but he's never studied chess before. So he might not even know that you should keep control of this e5 square with his bishop. But maybe this is probably a totally legit way to play. And I just play knight bd7, adding a defender to this knight. And so potentially in the future, I can get my queen off of this diagonal and get out of the pin. And it seems like a very natural move too. It also controls the e5 square. So both my knight and my bishop control it. If I just castled, he could potentially play knight e5, and I wouldn't be able to take because my knight cannot move because it's into the queen. So I thought playing knight bd7 made a lot of sense, controlling the e5 square. And he plays c3, finishing the triangle setup of the London. So classic structure here, and I just castle. And he plays knight d2. I'm surprised to see that he didn't play bishop d3, but I guess it's all the same. But I do play c5. So one of the best ways to fight against London is to play bishop d6 and c5. And yeah, you're fighting for the center. And ultimately, if your opponent takes, well, they've given up control of this e5 square and they've lost a center pawn for one of your flank pawns. And he actually does take. Like, this actually happened in the game. He took my pawn. I was like, okay, nice. And it's interesting. It's like if you like flip the board here for a second, this is like a Scandinavian or Caracan type of structure here. Very solid. So it's probably not bad for white, but probably not the best way to play either. Like, black just has this nice center pawns and easy. And as long as black can solve the issue with this light squared bishop, this position isn't that bad for him. So my opponent plays queen c2, potentially castling long here. I was like, huh, interesting. If I do nothing, he might just castle long. Like a6, castles long, b5. And like, this is kind of an interesting game. He might play h4 here. And it's not super easy for me to punch through here because he can just take. So not super easy for me to get my... So it would be a very interesting game if he did do this. But I did not play a6. I did not play a6. I played the move e5. The whole point of how I'm playing is to control the e5 square, and I finally do control the e5 square enough where I can just push the pawn to e5, and I'm opening up the door for my bishop to develop. And I actually thought he might go here, and I might go here, and then I'm going to go rook c1 and a6 b5. I thought, like, wow, this is going to be a really interesting and fun game. If he does decide to castle queenside, I think I'm better. I have a nice center. I have these nice bishops in the center of the board. I have these, and like, life is pretty good. But he does play this move e4, which is just a blunder because I take. And if you take, then I can take. And if you take, I take, and you take, and I take, and I'm up. I'm up a bishop here. He has one bishop, one knight. I have two bishops and a knight. And if you take here, my first thought was, oh, I take here, and I have the bishop pair, but I'm probably slightly better because I have this nice center pawn, and like I said, I have the bishop pair, so I don't think I'm that bad. I'm that much worse here. But then I was like, but when he played e4, I was like, oh wait, my knight moves backwards. So takes, and this happened in the game, and I'm just up a piece. He ends up trading. He takes my knight, I take back, and I play the move knight g5. And so you're up a piece, now what? You're up a piece, now what? Well, you gotta limit your opponent's counterplay and develop your pieces and try to be, active. Stop their counterplay, be active, and yeah, life is good. So I want to play, h6 is a natural response, but I actually thought he might play h4. And I was like, this isn't bad for me. Well, like if I take, it is bad for me because how am I stopping checkmate? But I wouldn't take the knight. I would not take the knight. I'd probably play the move e4. But I was like, I don't need to play h6 right now. I do play it later though. So I'm gonna play e4 now. And if he takes the pawn, then I'm gonna take, and pin the queen to the king. So so he plays bishop e2. So maybe he's threatening to take the pawn. And I just play queen e7, getting my queen off the back rank. So if he does castle, my bishop is not pinned to my queen. It also, once this bishop moves, my rooks will be connected. So queen e7 makes a lot of sense. It also defends the e4 pawn. And yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. He plays h4, I play h6, and he plays knight h3. He didn't have to do that. That's a lie. He has to do it because the pawn is on e4, blocking the queen's vision on the h7 square. So he has to move back. And yeah, now I play bishop g4 with the idea that if he does not trade and goes like bishop c4, my bishop cuts off his king from castling. And if he castles here, then of course he's gonna have doubled pawns, and that's not very good for him. So so he just castles now. That's what he does. And I could take the knight. There's probably no need to open up the g file. You can also take with the rook too. There's no need for this. I just take his bishop, and I play rook. Well, actually, I play h5. I really wanted to play rook here because I'm like, I don't believe in your counterplay because g4 happens, and I was like, no, that's dumb. I shouldn't play rook a d8. I just supposed to play h5, and I'm really restricting my opponent's counterplay here because he really wants to get these pawns rolling. Like for example, if he could play f3, if this pawn was pinned to my queen, he could play f3 and g4 and stuff. But here I would just take, and life is pretty good for me. And he's not breaking through on the king side, which is the most important part. So I just play h5 because if I don't, just to recap, like g4 looks really scary, and let's say I go bishop c5 for example, g4, and it's just like, what am I doing? I was thinking about going like here, and then like here, and then if I can go like go here maybe, and like it's probably still fine for me, but why am I doing this again? Like why am I allowing my king to be this weak? No, I'm probably still winning, but it's not nearly as clean. I think h5 is the cleanest solution here. Yeah, h5. Yep, cleanest solution here. No g4 because I'll just take with the knight. And you could go here, but this f3 pawn, it's an f2 pawn. It can never go to f3 because I just take. And life is pretty good. Life's pretty good. I'd probably go rook here if he did go g4, open up the g file. So yeah, so I felt pretty good here after h5. He played g3. Which is a little bit of a weird move, but he's losing. He's just down a piece, so there's not much for him to do. G3 is designed to control the f4 square, so maybe in the future he can move his knight out of the way, and he doesn't have to worry about bishop f4 checking the king, and getting the knight as well. So yes, let's see. So h5, g3, rook here. He goes rook over, and now I play rook f8, over protecting my e4 pawn, and no shenanigans with pinning, with the pawn being pinned. Like, for example, I don't even know. Like, let's say this, for example, an f3, I could not take because of takes, and takes. So no shenanigans with with the f pawn being pinned. So I play. That's why I play rook f8. And now he makes the final blunder, which is rook hg1. I say the final blunder, but there's really not much else to do. He could have played knight g5. I guess that's probably a trying attempt by him to, develop your knight. But there's really not much to do. I probably would have continued by slowly pushing my pawns forward. Maybe queen c7 now. And then queen a5 and b5, b4. That might be an option. But yeah, I mean, black has nothing to worry about. He plays rook hg1 though, which loses to a queen e6. It attacks the knight on h3 and attacks the pawn on a2. And he plays knight f4, defending his knight, attacking the queen, attacking his pawn. This pawn is being attacked by both the knight and the queen. And so the question is, do you take this knight or not? I decided not. I actually thought, what? Like, this actually, I actually think I'm helping my opponent. If I takes, and queen takes a2. Let's say queen e3, check here. There's nothing I can really do in terms of any more checks or anything. I guess I could go here, but I kind of have to be careful. I guess here, this rook on e1 is defended by the knight and the queen, so it doesn't work. But yeah, maybe this is okay. Yeah, I mean, not okay. I mean, this is definitely still winning for black, but I didn't even want to give my opponent the opportunity to think about counterplay. So instead of taking the knight, I just took on a2, because after he takes my pawn, the hg and f files are closed. He's never getting a rook to attack me. Never. Meanwhile, I come up with a really nice idea. I did the move e3. That was my main idea. And the idea is that if rook takes, then rook takes, pawn takes, and check, and I win the rook. And I just win the game. Okay, but what about pawn takes? Well, same exact thing. Rook takes, check here, and well, actually he went king c2 in the game because he didn't want to go to any discovered checks. So I take here, and his rook is hanging, and he goes queen g5, attacking my rook, defending his rook, but that loses to bishop e7. And he takes my bishop, and it is checkmate on the board here. Pretty checkmate. Relatively not Cosio. I forget what the name of the checkmate is. Doesn't matter. But yeah, he has no alternatives. If he tries to defend the checkmating square, for example, queen g4. Well, now queen takes e3 here, and I'm up a bishop and a rook. So life is good for me. So yeah, so I think in this game I was pretty proud of myself for being very straightforward in my conversion. I think rook h1 wasn't a good move, but there are no good moves because he's down a piece. But I'm very happy to just not be afraid to lose the h5 pawn. I didn't panic. I wasn't like, oh man, let's play queen d4 and defend my h5 pawn because I want to limit counterplay. No. Don't do that. I'll gladly, please take my pawn. I don't care, because now I'm getting my other pieces into the game, into the attack, and I'm going to checkmate you. So I think I'm very happy with how I converted this, and yeah, it's a good way to end the tournament for me. Very relatively stress-free game because he blundered the piece so early in the game. But yeah, I mean, I'm still down 30 points for the tournament because I lost that 1400 round 1. And I drew that 1600, which wasn't very good. But It is what it is. It's been a wild tournament, and this is my last college tournament ever. I'm graduating this semester, so it's sad that our university not get second place, not get first place. We didn't get any trophies or anything like that. We didn't get any trophies throughout my entire senior year of college, so kind of wild to think about in hindsight. But it is what it is. It is. That's part of life, and oh well. Well, game review time. I'll see you guys in the next one.